Yeah, guys, come on up. It's Mel.
The Manboys are a crew that have been filming in Whistler for about 12 years now, which means they can get pretty much anywhere in absolutely any conditions. My name's Erin Hogue, and I'm an action and adventure photographer. I work with a lot of professional athletes, and so I wanted to create this series to show what is going on in these sort of remote locations. This is the story behind the photos. It had dumped the entire day before, which meant there was about 50 centimeters of fresh snow on the ground.
Yeah, guys, come on up. It's Mel.
Now, on this particular day, we had the A team, which consisted of Rusty Ockinson, Matt Balzil, and Chris Rasman. Those three are so good at sledding. So what the A team does is they go up everything first, they do all the gnarly stuff, they put the trail in, and then they come back and get us B team, and they bring us up. And so on this day, the B team consisted of myself, obviously, Jody, and Ben Webb, the filmer. So this meant we as the B team, we did the bottom of everything with radios, because all of the trails are like kind of like single track gnarly trails through the trees. And so if anything were to happen to the A team, if they would get stuck or anything like that, then we can't just go up behind them because we'll create collisions. So it was a lot of like Jody, Ben, and I hanging out and just waiting for the guys to do the hard stuff.
Did you hear that, Jody? Oh my God. What? I just didn't know if you heard Matt.
Sweet, if you go up there too, then I might use the ladies' room real quick.
Nature.
Do you want us to move?
That's super stuck. Alright, I'm getting my shovel.
My ski just ran into a bunch of ice at the bottom.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
And you're just doing this alone? Well, I mean, if we just pull the nose, dude, I think with the double ski pole.
What do you think, Rasman? We already have 4 opinions. We could use a 5th.
Oh, it's Rusty. We finally did it.
First stuck in 12 years.
I got stuck already. I did too. Nice.
No.
Okay, so you guys can come up. It's kind of hard to tell, but there is one track that's really good. And I was like chilling the whole way up. But yeah, just maybe go slow and try to find the right track, and you guys should be good.
And if not, you're fucked.
I don't know what they're talking about. Why didn't they just all stay in the same track?
Well,
They all just stay in one. The beginning of that was a little turbo turn.
I was like, whoa. No.
Is that the Abbey Gut next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Abbey Gut's not that long. It's like 10 meters.
Sounds good.
I thought it was like 100, but
Yep, you heard that right. Abbey gut, as in avalanche gut. So whenever you go out into the backcountry, you always have to check and monitor what the avalanche conditions are. And so there's a report that tells you how bad they are, and there's a bunch of different factors that affect it. It's a whole snow science. You can look it up. It's like so in depth. But basically, you need to know what the Abbey conditions are before you get out into the backcountry. And you also have to know where the safe places to be are, where an avalanche isn't gonna get you and where an avalanche could get you if something were to happen. And so the whole day you have to assess the conditions and be constantly aware of where you are, where you're staying, where you're waiting, where's a bad spot, all that kind of stuff. So in order to get to the Alpine where we wanted to go, we had to travel through an Abbey gut.
well, like you guys have been doing this for a while. Just know that it's been super like weird. Just take your time. This is where it's gonna get fucking deep.
And I can see like some definitely, holy weird fractures. Okay, don't touch any higher, we'll come meet you there.
So on days like this, the entire day becomes about risk management. And keep in mind, everybody that was on the crew this day has avalanche training. So we all know what to look for and we all know how to react in certain situations. So when we decided to cross this Abbey path, we knew that we had to do it fast. We knew that we wanted the fewest amount of people in there as possible so that if anything were to happen, there was enough people to help save that one person, which is why we tried to go in like smaller groups across the avalanche path. And also keep in mind, that there has to be some sort of change in conditions in order to trigger an avalanche. So there needs to be a cornice that falls, or there needs to be somebody up there that hits a trigger point to make the avalanche fall in this gut, or warming temperatures. There's a million things that can start an avalanche. And so you just have to be aware of the risks. Now for us, we knew the risk at this particular time was relatively low because the temperature had stayed the same. And there was nothing above us to actually trigger the avalanche, but that did not mean we were hanging out there. We were getting through this avalanche gut as fast and efficiently as we could.
It was hectic, but I think once we enter Crisco, it'll get easier and easier. Stay here for a sec, I'm just gonna move somewhere so I feel safe. Oh, guys, just so you know, I'm stuck in the underpass.
Yeah, we know, we can see everything above you right now. Keeping an eye on it, just have Jody help you and get out of there as soon as you can.
Yeah, we're both unstuck now, and then we're just gonna make sure Aaron gets through, so we're all good.
So the guys got about 10 meters further and they got stuck again and needed an extra hand. So as much as I didn't want to join them in the Abbey gut, I had to.
Don't worry, your muscle's here.
Okay, you and me lift, she kicks no under.
Hey, just checking up on you guys.
Yeah, we're good. We're gonna come up. 10-4.
Key, so important.
See what I did there with the music? Made it sound really intense. Wasn't actually that intense. I mean, whenever you're in the backcountry, for sure there are risks, and we're constantly managing them and assessing them and everything. But there's risk in just about everything that you do. And for me, the rewards of being in the mountains and being able to see the things I do, go to the places I do, and get the photos I get to get far outweighs the risks. Also for me, I find road biking gnarly. I don't know how people do it. You have no control, and people get hit on bikes all the time. So it's just like you kind of pick your battles. And for me, being in the backcountry and like assessing the risks is worth it. So yep, that happened. Then about an hour and a half more of us doing pretty much the same thing, driving in circles, looking around, trying to find something to shoot with good snow. We eventually found a jump spot to build.
Build jumps for fun, you know? Whatever.
And of course, as soon as we had the jump built and ready to go, the clouds rolled in. Classic.
And the light's gone. But not good. It's just I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of alright, but it's getting foggy quick.
Now, just to recap, it took us 3 hours to get to the top, 5 hours to actually find something we wanted to find a spot that we wanted to hit, and then about 8 hours later, we were actually set up, ready to shoot.
Waiting on light. Frozen. It's looking not so great. I mean, there it's blue. That's great. There it looks awesome. Now it's snowing. We don't have quite enough light right now. We really need the light to come through the clouds and right. Ugh, and they're gonna go.
And that's a wrap. Pretty much. Some days just end like that. You go for the entire day for one single photo. And I'm lucky because the photo of Matt Balzil ended up in King Snow magazine, so that made the day worth it. There are days you'll go up for 12 hours and not get a single photo. You have so many factors working against you. If you want to see some of those days, I'll share them with you. Just subscribe, hit the bell, comment, tell me what you want to know, tell me what you want to see, and I'll pretty much give it to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.